Hey guys, so yesterday we talked about how to graph quadratic functions that are parent functions, okay, and how to graph it when you have C. Today we're going to talk about what happens if we have an x, okay. So if an equation has a bx in it, be it in the middle of the equation or in the end, you will use the equation of the axis of symmetry to help find the vortex, okay. Because we need to know the vortex in order to graph it, and we can't find the vortex unless we find the axis of symmetry first. Okay, so all we're doing is we're using the axis of symmetry to find the vortex so then we can graph it. But today we're just breaking this up, so we're not going to actually get into any graphing today. I'm just giving you little pieces at a time. So tomorrow you're going to put all the pieces together, and then it shouldn't be too hard, okay? So the equation of the axis of symmetry is x equals negative b all over 2a. Okay, this finds the x value of the axis of the vortex. So once we use this equation, we're already halfway done, okay? So that's going to give us the x value. And we always want to do this first. So step one is to always find the axis of symmetry, okay? So let's just jump in to the equations. To examples. But before I do that, to do this, I always label each value before I start. Okay, so what I mean by that is if I have an example like below. Okay, and they want me to first find the axis of symmetry. And then the vortex. And this is going to be the exact same thing you do on your homework today. Okay, you're going to have to find the axis of symmetry and the vortex. So your homework is going to be very similar to what we're doing now. Okay, so one is we have to find the axis of symmetry. So to do that, I'm going to always label each value. So I'm going to have A, B, C. So your A is always beside your x squared. Now notice how I don't have a coefficient here, but there's an understood what? 1. Okay, B is always going to be the coefficient beside my x, so I have negative 6. And then C is always going to be the number by itself, which is 4. Okay, I'm going to plug it into the axis of symmetry formula. So watch the negatives. I have negative 6. I have 2 and plug 1 in for A. So negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is going to give me 3. So I have x equals 3, which is the axis of symmetry. So again, all you're doing is just plugging in values. So step 2, we need to find the vortex. Okay? To find the vortex, which is the x value and the y value, it's that point. You're going to plug in your x value that you found up here into the equation that you started off with. Okay. So you're going to take this equation and you just found out that x equals 3. So wherever there's an x at, you're going to plug 3 in for x. Okay, so 3 squared is 9. Okay. 6 times 3 is going to give me negative 18. And then plus 4. 9 minus 18 plus 4 is going to give me 5. Okay, but I am not done, because remember, vortex is not just a y equals or an x equals, it's a point. So I'm going to have an x value and a y value. So my vortex, okay, that is going to be my x value, which is 3, and then the y value that we just found is negative 5. Okay, and so this would be my vortex. Okay, it would be that point. So if I had a graph, okay, it's going to be somewhere like that. And it's going to be this point right here. That's going to be my vortex. Okay? And that is key when we start to graph these tomorrow. Okay, so all you're doing is you're first finding an axis of symmetry, which is going to use the formula to find your x. Then you're going to use your original equation, plug that number in for x, solve for y, and then you have your x value and your y value in here. Okay? So again, you find your x value by doing your axis of symmetry. You find your y value by plugging in and solving for y. So let's do some more examples. And again, this is all you're doing on your homework today. Y equals negative 3x squared plus 12x plus 1. And again, you're going to find the axes of symmetry and the vortex. So step 1, I'm going to find my axis of symmetry, okay, and I'm going to write out all my values. So A equals B equals C equals. A this time is negative 3, B is positive 12, and then C is positive 1. Okay, write my formula, x equals negative B over 2A, plug in my values. Okay, negative times 12 is negative 12. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 12 divided by negative 6 is going to give me a positive 2. Okay, so my axis of symmetry is x equals 2. And now we have to find my vortex, and to do that, I'm going to use this equation, y equals negative 3x squared plus 12x plus 1, and I'm going to plug in x equals 2. Anywhere I see an x, I'm going to put a 2. Okay. So I have 2 squared is going to give me 4. 12 times 2 is 24. Plus 1. Negative 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, plus 24 plus 1. And that's going to give me going to give me 13. Okay, I forgot to add a negative right there. So my y value is 13. To find my vortex, I'm going to take the x value I found, which is 2, and then the y value I found, which is 13. Okay, and that is my answer. Okay. Again, you're just using your axis of symmetry formula to find your x. You plug in your x into this equation up here to find your y value, put the two together, and you have your vortex. Okay, so I want you to try these two on your own. Okay. So you try these. So you're going to find the axis of symmetry and the vortex. So go ahead, pause the video, complete these, and then come back for the answer. Okay, welcome back. Let's do these problems. Okay. So I'm going to first label everything. A is 1, B is 2, and C is -1. I'm going to use my axis of symmetry formula, which is -b over 2a. Plug in my values. Negative times 2 is -2, 2 times 1 is 2, -2 divided by 2 is -1. So my axis of symmetry is x equals -1. Okay, that is part 1. Then to find my vortex, I'm going to plug this into this equation up there. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to plug in x equals -1. So -1 squared is 1. 2 times -2, -1 is -2. Okay, minus 1. Y is going to give you -2. So we have my x, y, so now we can write my vortex, which is -1, -2. And that is my answer. Okay. Looks like this next one. Again, label first. So I have -1, -8, -16, 17. Okay, use my formula for my axis of symmetry. Don't forget this negative, okay? Because it will make your problem wrong. Negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times -1 is -2. 8 divided by -2 is -4. So x equals -4, and that's going to be my axis of symmetry. Okay, and then what's left to find? The vortex. And to do that, plug in x equals -4 into my equation up here. Okay, so -4 squared is going to give you positive 16. Okay, with the negative on the outside. -8 times -4 is going to give you positive 32. And I have -17. And then you get y equals -1. So I have my y value, my x value, so I can plug that into my vortex. So I have -4, -1 as being my vortex. Okay, so that is all we're doing. Okay, it's just procedure. Okay, you have practice problems. Okay, do it to the best of your ability. Learn it. If you have questions, please let me know. Okay, so we can talk about it. Because tomorrow we're going to move on to actually graphing these. Okay, I hope y'all have a good day.